Happy holidays from Rams, the good food people.
This Christmas, make the season brighter with help from TDC Financial Services. Whether it's gifts for the family, a holiday home makeover, or that special celebration you've been dreaming of, our Christmas loan promotion is here to make it happen. Get up to $85,000 unsecured or $100,000 secured with affordable rates, fast approval, and the trusted service you know and love. Apply today at TDC Financial Services on Central Street, Bass near St. Kitts, or Main Street, Charlestown, Nevis. TDC Financial Services, your holiday, your loan, your way, where money is made easy.
This Christmas, add postpaid for a festive win-win. We're gifting you a 50-inch smart TV or a $400 Amazon gift card. When you add a Flow postpaid mobile plan to your home internet, you can celebrate the most wonderful time of the year with a big screen or big shopping. Let us upsize your TV or clear your Amazon cart. Either way, you come out on top. Add postpaid to internet today for your festive win-win. Visit discoverflow.co for more info. Terms and conditions apply.
Come, build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers. We don't just sell materials, we help you build your dreams. Whether it's a new home, a renovation, or a DIY project, we're here to make it happen. That's why we say, build with us. From foundation to finish, come to our stores where we have the best in building materials, hardware, tools, paints, expert advice, and more. Whatever you need, you can count on us. So if you're ready to get started, build with us. With Hostels Building and Nevis Centers, you're not just building a structure, you're building a future. Let us help you create something amazing. Dream with us, plan with us, grow with us, build with us. Come build with us at Hostels Building and Nevis Centers today. Build with us at Hostels.
A pleasant, good Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday. So choose to be kind, choose to be caring, choose to be good to yourself and to others. Welcome to today's edition of Island Tea, 8 a.m. in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. To the regional and international diaspora, good morning again to the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. A pleasant good morning. Just to remind you, we are on your FM dial for those of you who can catch us at 98.9. We're being simulcast on TVC Channel 40, Facebook, as well as YouTube. If you wish to bring something pressing to the fore or joining on the ongoing conversation that we might be having, our local number is 466-0989. In the U.S., 1-305-921-4619 or 1-718-285-6984, or in the UK, 0333-440-065. It is the 30th day of December 2025, the second to last day of this year. Despite our challenges, despite our setbacks, we've made it thus far. So let us be grateful and be great to ourselves. I must say good morning to my co-host over there, Quint. Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm doing good. And Miss Henry, Quint delivered on his promise, okay? I got the bush. I feel my throat trying to give me trouble, although I've been taking my oregano oil. I've been trying to stay hydrated. I still feel my throat feeling a bit funny this morning. So, Quint, when I get home, I'm going to sort myself out. Now, yesterday we didn't get to touch on it, but congratulations to the 6-peat champions. That's the EBJ Harmonics. They had the panorama on Sunday night, and they emerged the winner. We have, is it the Nevis Community Development, I think? Yeah. They were first runner-up. They were first runner-up again. They were first runner-up as well in 2024. And then we had, I can't remember the other no, I think those are the only two places. Yeah, they don't do second and third. But there were 4 bands in the competition. I haven't followed it closely, so I don't know if the bans have decreased since it started in 2019. But I must say, although EBJ, and please don't get me, might think they have the advantage, they came prepared. So they didn't come and just say, oh, we can just do something and win. They came prepared, they were organized, they were together, their composition sounded well. I listened to it myself. And as same thing I was saying, because I think it's their Wallace Seal Orchestra. They played very nice. But the synchronicity to me wasn't there, even in their movements. And that's what I was saying to my husband. Like, I think they need to coordinate or choreograph their movements a bit more, get their tune sounding more, how should I say, better composed.
You mean those who won?
Those who didn't.
Those who didn't.
No,
okay.
I think those who won, they always had the advantage because, and as I will say again, don't get me, they had Boots, the late Boots.
Oh.
Remember, he's from Trinidad.
Yeah.
That's his aura. Because if you look at the panorama in Trinidad and Antigua, those people are in sync. Movements, everything. You almost always, I don't want to say they're extremely perfect, but they're good.
Yeah.
If they're going to throw up a hand, everybody throw up the hand at the same time. So everything, even at the end of EBJ Harmonics performance, when I saw the Byron guy did so, everybody, like it was, synchronicity was real.
I'm glad you said that because I don't understand why that should be so hard. If you're into music, it's all about timing. And the timing goes with the beat. For instance, if it's da 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 da, when and you know you're going to put your hand when you say da, then what's hard about that?
Yeah.
You know exactly, you're playing the music and you know when da come, everybody's hand is going to go so.
Let me tell
and that's
you.
about synchronization.
Let me tell you, they did well, and I like that they didn't think that they had it because they're 5P champions. They came prepared, they delivered, and they were worthy of the prize.
There is an old saying, it's easier to get on the top than to stay at the top. So when you get on the top, if you're going to stay on the top, you got to keep working hard because people are going to be coming at you. So yeah, that you can't just go and think, well, okay, we've done it so much times before, we're going to do it again. That's where you're going to slip.
I enjoyed the costumes. I didn't get to watch the show from the beginning, but from what I saw, though, Quint, it looked like it was a throwback because everybody had on afros and old time wear. The Awali Steel Orchestra, they had afros and shiny disco suits. EBJ had afros, shiny red shirts, and a white pants. So I'm thinking it's something from that era, the Afro era. The first runner-up, which is the Nevis Community Steel Orchestra, they had on like school uniforms.
Okay.
And the children were overly excited. I wish the leader would have smiled. Don't get me just saying. Because you can't have the children down there jumping up excited like, we play us. And you just don't look too pleased about it. I know gentlemen don't smile, but I think with a bit more tightening and getting your choreography better,
Who said Who said gentlemen don't smile?
most gentlemen don't smile for
men don't
pictures.
smile.
If you look at it, I'm saying that.
I feel, I agree with you.
For
that
pictures, though.
I agree with you that if you're the head of I could understand when you're training them that you don't smile much. I could understand even while the competition is going on, you might not smile much. But after it is finished, I think you should break a little smile.
Yeah, that's what I'm
because
saying.
it sort of encourages them.
Because
you
they're
know.
down there excited, Quint, they're jumping up, we come first, we win the 20. You know, the children are down there excited, and it's like the little, like, tall again. But as I said, with tightening, with increased scrutiny at your choreography, with synchronized movements, I think you can give EBJ a run for their money. All of the bands that were there, I think y'all can give them a run for their money, and the fact that they're working hard to stay at the top, make them work hard again next year. And Mr. Byron, you can get me. Yeah, I said that. Make you work hard next year. And I must congratulate you too, as I said before, not because you knew that you may have had it in the bag. I think you came and you worked hard, and you proved why EBJ deserves to be 6P champion. So congratulations to you and your entire team.
Where was that? Where was that held?
Carnival, not Carnival Village, in the area, the stadium, where they're keeping all the shows.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where that was held.
Okay.
But
that is a show that I might want to see one of these days.
Look at you.
Because
so we going next year?
I can't say when, really, but
It's still next year, December. You have enough time. I put it on your bucket list.
but yeah, because I'm into music, and that is one of the shows I would want to see live one of these.
But you see, the thing with you, Quint, when you go home, you put away the phone. Because if I go send you a message, last time Quint was seen was 10:01 a.m. the previous day. So I can't say send Quint the link and Quint go and pick up your phone and see the show, y'all. Quint, don't be on the phone at all. And he can tell you that, but I just said it's true. 10:01 a.m. from the previous day. Quint probably don't even look at his phone the other day.
Yeah, recently someone is been back to WinFM, you know who I'm speaking about, and she asked me for my phone number, and I told her I don't know my phone number out of my head. So, and she had a good laugh at that, you know. And it's Flames who gave her my phone number.
Yeah, because I have to get it back too, because I changed phones and you and the boss lady didn't come over, so I have to get back both numbers today.
So I'm not a phone person.
I know that for sure.
Yeah.
And we didn't bring home the crown last night, but kudos, Miss Soraya, you did as well. We're proud of you. Tortola, it's gone back to my second home, the BVI. Yes, I love the BVI. So it went back over there. Anguilla came second, and who came first again? Am I mixing it up? Was it St. Lucia that came first? St. Lucia that came first. So commiserations to everyone that participated in the show. You made the Hinsmith Talented Teen.
We have a caller.
Caller, go ahead. You're live in Island T.
Good morning to everybody.
Good
Once
day.
more again, once more again, greetings in Jesus Christ's name, the only Savior of sinners from their sins and from hell, through faith only, by the gospel only, and who is the second person of the eternal Trinity. Now,
Before you start, first of all, did you get your pepper pot? I think Hortensia was asking that yesterday.
no, not as yet.
Okay.
So you missed it on Christmas morning? Sorry to hear.
Yes. But it's still in the works. It's still in the plan.
Okay.
Yes. Secondly, you don't have a specific topic, do you?
No.
Oh, okay. Something Quinn said yesterday. Quinn, I'm going to disagree with you as usual, very strongly on this issue. And what you said yesterday, that the Bible kept us in slavery.
And it's still keeping us in slavery.
That is what you have said,
Yes.
which I totally disagree with you.
Well, I know you will, so.
Yes. We black people, just like others. Before I say that, let me say this: people abuse and misuse the Bible to put people, including black people, but not limited to black people only, in slavery or to enslave others. That anything can be misused and abused, and it is illogical to judge something based upon its misuse and abuse. And the Bible has been misused and abused. And it ain't just the Bible only, other things as well have been misused and abused to enslave others as a justification for others. Because there is no way that a person can correctly and properly use the Bible to justify at least the type of slavery that we see has been viciously practiced on mankind, including but not limited to the West during the time of slavery. No way anybody can use the Bible to justify that. And no way anybody could use the Bible to justify kidnapping people to making them slaves, which was what the slavery in almost all over the world, including the West, was the kidnapping was the foundation of. As the Bible tells you, if you kidnap a person, you should be put to death. So it was the misuse and abuse of the Bible that people use to justify slavery, the misuse and abuse of it.
Let me ask you a question. Would you say that the misuse and abuse of the Bible has ceased?
No,
Okay.
by no means.
Okay.
By no means.
Okay.
By no means. And let me say this as well. And let me say this as well. It is the correct use and proper use of the Bible that was used by the abolitionists, certain revolutionaries, people who helped people to escape slavery, like the Underground Railway, and by Harriet Tubman and Sojourner of Truth. And I'm going to say this, a lot of people doesn't know this history. Uncle Tom, the real Uncle Tom in real life, who the book was based on, I think his name was Pastor Josiah something. He as well, and many others, black and white and so, use the Bible to help people escape slavery.
And let me interject there. You're right. A lot of people don't know about Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom has been sort of propagandized, where you get a negative. You hear you're Uncle Tom, but in the original, the Uncle Tom was not a negative person, right? Uncle Tom was a positive individual who was conscious and who did not like what was happening in regards to slavery. But because, as often happens, people don't want you to follow a certain line, propaganda came up and it put this Uncle Tom in a bad light. So you hear, oh, you're Uncle Tom, and it means you're a traitor and that kind of stuff. So that is a part of history that our people need to know. So yes, you're right. A lot of people don't know of the other side
Uncle
of
Tom.
Uncle Tom.
Exactly. I think the figures that I've heard, Uncle Tom helped over 100 black people to escape slavery.
Yeah.
To go to Canada and so on. So yeah. So what I'm saying, and plus the abolitionists, including people like Frederick Douglass and the sort of Harriet Tubman and you name them all, they use the Bible to fight against slavery and to end slavery. Even the gentleman, I think he is Jim Brown. Jim Brown, the man who had went where he killed some white people. What was it, Jim Brown? I think it was,
I am not too familiar. That isn't coming to me right now.
Jim Brown, where he was a blind, and I don't agree with everything he did because he killed children and that sort of stuff. But even he was a man who, in somebody who eulogized him, said, all Jim Brown knew was the Bible. All he knew was the Bible. So what I'm saying is that the Bible, when it was properly used, was used by so many people in so many ways to fight against slavery and to bring it to an end. Because they saw what the Bible teach did not square with what was practiced, and that what was practiced was bringing an abominable pain and sin upon the nation, and they couldn't stand for it. As a matter of fact, I have a Kindle book. I must say, though, I never read it from cover to cover. I never read it. I think I might have been very little through it, even if that much. But I know that I bought it because of what I read about it. And what I read about it was that, I forgot the name of the book. Sorry to say I forgot the name of the book. But what I read about it and caused me to buy it is that it had placed the arguments of those who was against slavery over against the argument of those who were for it. And from what I've read about the book, the argument of those who was against slavery overpowered and outweighed the arguments of those who was for slavery, trying to justify it from the Bible. Whereas those who were against it, their argument was really in line with the Bible. Yes,
is that a Christian book?
I do not know if it is a Christian book. Because I said that I did not read it itself, but I bought it, but I read about it.
The reason I ask is because I'm going to ask you another question. Do you only read Christian books?
No.
Okay, no. Because now you need to, perhaps you need to try to see if you can find a book entitled Black Protests. See if you can get that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So yes. Yeah. When I get a chance, I will try to look it up on Amazon and see if I can find it. Black Protest.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So that is what I really wanted to say, because I think, as a matter of fact, in the Old Testament, I think it's in Exodus, where it tells you. A lot of people don't we cherry pick the Bible, but a lot of people don't know. The Bible tells you that if a slave run away from his master, do not send him back. Protect him. Do not send him back to his master if a slave run away from his master. No system of slavery can survive if what the Bible says is practiced. And not only that, but Paul said in 1 Corinthians chapter 7 that if you get a chance to come out of slavery, take advantage of that chance to free yourself.
Hold a second.
From slavery.
Hello, caller.
Good morning.
A pleasant morning to you, Quint. How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you. Haven't heard you in a while. All the best for the new year.
Yes, thank you. Quint, this wasn't really a topic, but it's about slavery and stuff too. You know, there used to be a lot of bantering around about black people used to own slaves too, in the United States.
Yes, that is a fact.
Hold up, that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
But here is the misinformation that most people eat that up without actually doing full research.
Yeah.
The data has shown that 98% of black people that own slaves were actually buying their family out of slavery, but they had to classify them as slaves still.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's
true.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the law said that when they became free, they had to leave the state within 12 months, that particular state. Otherwise, they will revert back into slavery.
Yeah.
So, family member bought them.
Yeah.
And so on the books, they were still classified as slaves.
Yeah.
So, really and truly, black people did not really own slaves.
But here's it. And this is a historical fact. There are some individuals who, because they wanted to be a part of the self-hatred, you can call it, and they were rich, wealthy, because of whatever reason, and they bought slaves, black people, and they were so vicious sometimes to the slaves that even some of the white people were sorry for some of the slaves. But that wasn't in the majority. That was in the minority.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So I want people to dispel the notion when they hear that, to understand the full context and the full historical data.
Yeah.
Of that.
And that is a good point you made too, because let's take it a little further. Even there was a point when you got freedom, if you were able to buy yourself out of slavery, because perhaps you had a reasonable master and you worked and you accumulated X amount of money and you bought yourself, and perhaps you were able to get your wife and children, they would give you a document. But here's what often happened, again, to go back to the point that you made when if you were given freedom, you had to be out of the state within an X amount of time. Here's what usually happened. I got free. I bought my wife out of freedom and maybe my child. Next thing, I move into another state. Some people, usually the Ku Klux Klan, would surround me, take away my papers, and then put me back into slavery. As long as I didn't have those papers to prove that I was free, I was back a slave again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So, anyway, great. Have a pleasant day and the rest of the season.
Yeah, same
and,
to you. Thanks.
I wish you a prosperous New Year.
Same to you and
Thank
yours.
you. Same to you and yours.
You're most welcome.
Okay, back to you, Greg.
Yeah, Quint. Well, I think I'm going to make I didn't hear the fact, the gentleman 100% in everything he said. But the last point you made about taking away papers and putting back in slavery, well, it actually even got worse than that. And I think there was a movie about it. I think there was a movie, but I think it was two brothers or something like that. Went into a different state, and they were kidnapped and put right back in slavery again where they came from.
Yeah,
I think there was a movie about it a few years ago.
Look,
anyhow,
before you go on, and I guess you're going to wrap up soon. Before you go on, in the new year, I don't know when, but I'll infuse certain things because the history of black people and what has been done to us is so atrocious. Let me say this. There was a time, you see Japan today, and you see the Japanese today. You go to Japan and you see them, and a lot of them are very prejudiced and very racist against black people. But here's a fact.
Yes.
There was a time when Japan was black. There was a time when China was black. If you go back and you see documents and pictures of the First and Second World War, you see black generals. I'm not speaking about ordinary people. You see black generals. Even if you go back deep into history and you read about the samurai and all of that. But what happened? What happened? Because when the Europeans came and colonialized China and colonialized Japan, they infused it by the breeding process, and they also passed laws that said black people were sub and lesser, and eventually over time black people were pushed back and back and back, and if you want to see an example of this happening even today, look at what is happening with the Latinos. If you go and you look back in history, when Columbus and them came, they almost killed out the original people.
Yep.
They only survived because they mingled and married into the black race. But look at what happened eventually. And look at, for instance, the Dominican Republic, where they're fighting against Haiti, fighting against black, and they have this thing, upgrade the race, they call it, where if you're dark, they despise you. You understand? So we've got to look at the self-hatred of black within the black community because we're trying to merge and be accepted by Caucasians. And here's the irony. Caucasians came from us.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, Quint, I'm going to say based upon the Bible, everybody came from Adam and Eve. Okay? That is what I'm going to say because that is what I believe. Everybody came from Adam and Eve. But let me end by saying this, Quint.
So if everybody came from Adam and Eve had to be a race and a color, right? And if you follow...
But not the only race I believe in. In two contexts, I believe in race. In two contexts only. One, in the biological context, it has been shown both from the Bible and from science, there is only one race, the human race. And two, in the spiritual sense, there are only two races, the children of God and the children of the devil.
Okay, but you do that because you, to some extent, try to dilute yourself also, right? So I'm not gonna go there I'm not gonna go there with you. But here's my premise. My premise is, if Adam and Eve, I'm gonna follow the Adam and Eve theory, right? Adam and Eve, they were a color. I agree with you though that there's only one race, and that's the human race. Because
biologically speaking, because spiritually they are too.
Because before the West decided they were going to come with this whiteness and that kind, it was all about, it was more class than race, right? So you're right there.
Yes.
So you're right there. But here's this: since they infused the race thing, right? It is undisputed. To go back to the Adam and Eve theory, everybody came from the original, and the original was black. There's no undisputing that.
Okay, Quinn. Okay.
Go ahead.
But let me finish. But let me finish by saying, well, first of all, I've seen videos. I've seen about a handful of videos on YouTube about the Japanese way back. He'd be surprised of the black people civilization that they had and that sort of stuff. So,
and even if you go
about
there,
concerning
even if you
Japan
go,
and China,
look, even if you're going to Japan and China today, and you go to certain sects, these are things that the world don't want you to know. You go to certain parts, you find black Chinese, black Japanese, but they sort of put them in a subhuman area, where like, okay, you're the low class and that kind of stuff and so forth. Yeah, go ahead. Finish your point.
I don't hear him anymore,
I guess maybe his credit
ran out.
So let's take a bit of a commercial break. Sorry about that, Greg. Good conversation. We'll be right back.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
Bigger wins, better deals, Christmas joy is here. At Ram Supermarket, we are also full of festive cheer this year. Better prices, bigger wins, 6 straws full of cheer. The good food people love to give, that's why we share our cheer. It's so easy to win. Just shop at any Ram Supermarket location, spend $200 or more weekly, drop your receipt in the entry box, and you can win $500 every week in December. So save big, win bigger, and celebrate this season with Rams. Happy holidays from Rams, the good food people.
This is it. The last day, last chance to save big at Horsford's Building and Nevis Centers and Builders Paradise. For one day only. Wednesday, December 31st. Enjoy a massive 30% off all discountable in-store items at Horsford's Building and Nevis Centers. And 25% off all discountable items at Builders Paradise as we clear the shelves and prepare for 2026. Celebrate accomplishments, celebrate savings, and celebrate new beginnings with the final sale of the year. Last day, last chance, last call to save big. Build with us. Build at Horsford's Building and Nevis Centers and enjoy everyday low prices at Builders Paradise. Only on December 31st.
Here are your Horsford's Value Mart IGA Christmas specials.
Running December 11th to December 24th.
Now our Value Club Blue Tag specials. Essential everyday shredded and chunk cheeses, just $7.99. IGA or essential everyday frozen waffles, just $9.99. Lender's bagels, $12.99. Western oils are $19.99 each. Essential everyday breadcrumbs, $7.49. Arm & Hammer deodorant, $8.99. And now our very low weekly
value deals. Quaker Oats, regular and quick, $15.99. Mueller's Dry Pasta, $5.99. Essential everyday chunk like tuna, $3.49. Essential everyday salt, plain and iodized, $4.29. Progress Oat Soup, $13.99. Because the toothpaste, $6.99. Shop Smart, Shop Value Mart. Tell them in Spanish.
Sea listo y haga sus compras aquí en Value Mart.
The wait is over. Registration is now open for the COSCAP Junior Carnival Parade 2025. This year, we celebrate under the theme National Treasures, highlighting our unspoiled historical sites and cultural art forms. The Masquerade, Clowns, Brimstone Hill, Berkeley Memorial, Independence Square, and from Nevis, Hot Springs. Bath Hotel, and the Botanical Gardens. It all comes alive on Saturday, December 27th, 2025. Sign up now. It's free. Register online at www.skncarnival.com or in person at the Department of Youth, 3rd floor of the Cable Building, Keon Street, Bastyr. But hurry, while stocks last, join the celebration, honor our national treasures, and watch the future of Carnival shine. It's sweet to the core. Sugar Mass 54.
And we are back on Island T. It's just about 33 minutes after the hour of 8. We have a caller?
Yes.
Okay, caller, go ahead.
And let me apologize because it seemed as if though Greg didn't jump out, it seemed as if though I inadvertently turned off the phone button there. So my apologies to Greg. Hello? Hello, caller?
Caller, good morning. You're live on Island T. Good morning.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi.
Hi, good morning, Quint. Good morning, Hortensia.
Morning.
Good day
How
to
are you
you,
doing?
Africa, and all the best for the new year.
Oh, same to you, according to the Gregorian calendar. Because, according to Greg, and according to nature, I'm not seeing any new flowers. I'm not even seeing new flowers about to peak to bloom. I think the way we can determine and the way the cosmos dictate what is new from what is old is at a time and season when you will see things that will become anew.
Yeah.
And then you will say, well, we human beings that are younger than what nature dictates, the trees, the environment, and so, was there before us. And some see how we came now and we just misconstrued everything. We say it's new when it's old. And when it's new, we don't even recognize the newness. So according to the Gregorian calendar from Pope Gregory, that started this calendar that we think, and even the calendar now, we have to play catch up. Because like you know, the leap year and the year, and there used to be added seconds and added minutes and added days.
That is why sometimes you even have to turn back the time by an hour in certain, at certain times.
And the different hour time within the world and how different time sequence. And some people celebrate New Year before we in a certain part of the world, the Western Hemisphere and so, and all of that. But we will able to determine when it's new, when the flowers are bloom, when you see certain bird species, certain plant species will come afresh again, and we will say, well, we are in sync with what nature, the cosmos, dictates.
Yeah.
And it is good to exercise in the morning, at morning time, rather than exercising in the evening time, when the earth is cooling down. Our body is supposed to cool down with the earth. The dictates of when things is being cool, it is when we human beings supposed to get cool. When it is heating up, it is when we're supposed to heat up and so forth and so forth.
You see,
But I want to say
before you go on, I'm glad you made that point, because that is where we as human beings don't realize that we need to be in sync with Mother Nature. And that is why especially we as a black people need to get back into spiritualism as opposed to religion. Go ahead.
It has not lost totally, because even though the stars seem far apart, there are always fireflies. Maybe they have, in certain seasons there are fireflies. I went to Sandy Point and I saw so many fireflies. I used to see fireflies in other communities. I don't see them that much. But even though the stars seem so far apart, there are always fireflies at our feet to enlighten the pathway of humanity. As few as the fireflies might be, human beings has never been lost from the time salvation came our way in the days of before Adam and Eve, when Osiris, the Christ, was here on earth. Long before Adam and Eve, those stories are new.
Yeah, that is
But I
why
want to,
that is why when Greg was speaking, I said if I'm to follow the Adam and Eve theory.
yes,
Go
because you
ahead.
know sometimes when I will go into that Adam and Eve concept theory because of the palatableness of where our people are.
Yeah.
But not to console them and to keep them there. But I have to start somewhere with them to walk them out of it.
Yes.
So if not, I have to start there, but my conversation will not remain there. I will walk them out of it. But it will be ignorant for me to try to really beat my people on the head with something that they cannot grasp.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to lose anyone. I'm here to bring back our people because there were a few sacred societies that kept the thing. And because it is innate to us, black people, the first people who gave birth to all other people, not races, as Greg would say, there's only one human race, and it sprang from the roots of our chief, which we are the roots of that chief. Let's use a chief as an analogy.
Hold a second.
So I want to take this opportunity.
Hold a second, so that I can at least hear the voice of the other caller. Hello, caller.
Good morning.
Okay. So we know who you are. So back to Africa, if you don't mind, please.
Good morning, Mr. McMahon. I listened to you yesterday, and rightly so, with the incident that happened down at Hilden, trying to get some clarification to the public about the closure of the Ramada, such a big hotel, and and so forth, and having to be born in the St. Paul's area and frequent the beach down there in that little Hilden community, that little Hilden area where it probably used to be an estate yard, and I saw it too, and yes, we have to continue to advocate, irrespective of, some of us will say, well, this season came upon us, and we should just kind of, cool a little bit. Matters are matters, and if matters to be on the front burner, let us keep the matters on the front burner. Except to say, I want to send an invitation, though, to Greg. Greg, I am inviting you to sit in with me on the program so that we can free up the airspace in terms of the calling aspect. You and I can sit, persons can have the opportunity to call in and discuss these matters, it's ongoing, your point of view or my point of view, and so forth, and bring about a better clarity. We are not apologists for no one. We are not apologists for no one. We are here trying to remember who we are as a people and bring about that so you can have a space there. Actually, basically I am inviting you to the program that we have. It is all of us program, but I will present, just like how you will come in and on the call-in program, I will present the topic and we'll have a conversation around that so that persons could call in and ask you questions and ask myself questions, and we could have a conversation surrounding these matters.
Yeah, that sounds good. And it shows again a level of maturity because, Greg is going to be conflicting usually against you, but that's what mature people do. Yeah?
Yes, and he does it also, but we welcome that.
Yes.
But, it restricts other callers to weigh in on the matters when
the phone is
Greg
tied
is
up.
passionate and he will want to call in a second or third time.
Yeah.
And then, persons might have a thought pattern and may not want to call in as soon as Greg might or someone might want to call in.
Yeah.
And so it will free up the phone line so that others could weigh in on the matters.
Yeah. Okay.
I would say to you, though, Greg, you researcher, come with your facts and your stats because I have mine.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
I continue to listen.
Yeah. So over to you, Mr. McMahon.
Yes, good morning.
Good
morning again.
Good morning.
Yes, Quint, I must commend you for your diplomacy. The delicate way you put that, Greg, how you put it? Greg likes to dilute himself.
Yeah.
That was delicately put. would have liked to hear what the first two, Adam and Eve, what race or complexion, skin tone, whatever you want to put it, they were features. What those two were, okay? Because unless he wants to say it's a mystery, and that's all part of God's sense of humor, just like how he would insert different languages on the earth, and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Okay. There are so many. That debate that was just mooted would be interesting indeed.
But hear this though. It is a fact, undisputed fact, that the Adam and Eve story was morphed out of the Osiris story that Africa was just speaking about, right? And we know the Osiris story is an African story, right? And black spiritualism, black god and goddesses and that kind of stuff. So therein lies the answer. The West decided to, for whatever reason, to bring the depiction of Michelangelo's painting and that kind of stuff and represent Jesus in a different form other than the original. But genetics and science is bringing it right back to the roots.
Okay, well, it would make for a good debate, though, because I'm sure that Greg would probably not agree with you. And that is why...
Most likely he won't.
Yeah, I mean, this insertion of free will is again, another controversial thing.
Yeah.
Because it means, essentially, God is really playing with us.
Yeah.
But that's a debate for another time, I think. What I woke up to was this thing that the Observer newspaper from Nevis selected, apparently, the Attorney General to be the Man of the Year. And I have to read it to see exactly why they did that, because at the very least he has been very controversial.
Yeah.
Okay. One of the more controversial people in the government, persons in the government. So I guess it depends on the criteria that they're going to use.
Is this, Mr. McMahon, sorry to interrupt, is this a story from yesterday or this is today's story?
Well, today is when I first saw it. Maybe it came out yesterday.
Because I heard on a very popular platform them basically talking him down. So maybe that's where it came from.
Well, I'm going to say this. There's a saying that, I don't remember exactly right now it goes, but it says that small minds deal with personalities. So I'm not going to get here and try to speak personally to the character of the individual and that
I don't
kind
know
of
him like
stuff.
that.
Yeah, so I'm going to leave that alone. For whatever reason they decided that he should be Man of the Year, they must know, as you stated, rightfully so, their criteria. I won't dig into that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. But that leads into the second thing that I saw this morning. When you have a public figure, right, the rules change, like it or not.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
And this pastor that they have, some Jamal Bryant, I think it is.
Yeah.
Oh, you know of him?
Yeah, but I didn't get to read it this morning because I was trying not to have a Monday. I wanted to have a better Tuesday. Yeah.
Well, they show the picture of his wife's outfit. They were apparently attending a gala.
This is you're speaking locally now?
No. This is international pastor.
Okay, wanted to be clear on that. Yeah.
Yes. And
black or white?
Black.
Okay, just want to be sure about these things. Go ahead.
Yeah. And there are two aspects to the story which I found interesting. First of all, when you look at the picture, apparently she's wearing fabrics that are skin tone.
Yeah.
Right. But it looks very translucent to somebody who don't have a keen eye for those things. Okay. And Quint, I'm sure if you look at it, you'd think that
she's naked.
Well,
I'm
she's
trying to
exposing
pull it
quite
up
a bit.
here.
Okay.
Right, and the two aspects that was brought to our attention was: is this appropriate for a pastor's wife to dress? Okay. Well, I would consider her to be in religious leadership. In a sense.
Yes, because
Okay.
she's the first lady.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? And so you think that you dress a bit more sedately, because I am sure that when she put that on, and when the pastor saw that, they must have been thinking, we're gonna
Wow
whack
them
some
tonight.
tongues today.
Yeah.
Because she looks as if she's wearing something rather worldly, so to speak. Okay? And the writer was of the opinion that, well, we can't expect a pastor's wife to be living in the 1800s.
But her dress looks like 1800s though, the styling, because you see the ruching that comes right in the front where it kind of draws attention to the part that it shouldn't draw attention to.
There's that, but there's also that, what you call that train, that skirting at the bottom.
Yeah, so it's vintage.
Okay, yes, but the parts that one would normally focus on, it's at the very least, I would call it provocative.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I only just saw Hortensia showed me a picture on her phone there. But I'll say this, and this is why this morning I said that Christianity and religion has and is still keeping us in bondage, has for 400 years. And I'm going to say this. You see how you said that? Yeah, wow. You see how you said that someone said, well, you don't expect the pastor's wife. This is what the church and the Christians are going to do. They're going to find all kind of excuses to justify this. And again, it comes back to this thing where people of the Christian religions are just going to feel that because some of them, I'm not saying all, are going to feel because you come in the name of Christianity and Jesus Christ and God, that you should just accept anything. And they're pulling us down a dangerous path. And as you said some time ago, I think you said, it's becoming very hard to distinguish between the church and the world, the churchly music and the worldly music. Look at that attire now. Hortensia just showed me another picture from a front, and man, I tell you.
I feel bad. It's sad. It saddens me to hear this is how us as a church is viewed. And I remember, Mr. McMahon, I don't know if you remember when a lady had went off on Megan Good when she was married to Pastor Devon Franklin. They're now divorced after 10 years. They've both been remarried. But remember, she went to an award too that had all of her breasts exposed, and the woman was saying, so you're going to start covering up now that you are a pastor's wife. And he had gone off on the church go and said, you're not going to talk about my wife and what she dresses and whatever.
Yeah.
But now you see they're not together. So now it looks, I feel for the pastor on that part, not Pastor Bryant at the moment we're speaking about, Devon Franklin, because it's like the woman basically told you that she's in the world still, and look what happened. But Megan Good says it's not her fault for the divorce, it's Devon that filed. I don't know why, but he's since remarried and she's since remarried. But as I said, as church people, we have to
Good morning, guys.
dress properly
Good day.
to exemplify what the world is looking at. So her dress, the ruching at the front that draws into her private area, can't work.
Hold Mr. McMahon and let go ahead, caller. Because usually she's brief and to the point. So go ahead.
Go ahead, Cleo.
No, I just come in and catch the tail part of y'all conversation, right? And again, like the last time Mr. McMahon were talking, and I said what he was saying is It's true, but sad. Now, as a woman, as a child of God, used to, because again, this word Christian, it sounds so loosely. I don't call myself a Christian. I'm a born again child of God. What I used to do before I got saved, I don't do it no more. What I used to wear before I got saved, I don't wear them no more. Where I used to go, I don't go anymore. Because I'm born again, I'm a child of God, and the problem is with the world, like you said, somebody said, oh, they want the pastor wife to look like she's in the 1800s or whatever. No, she's supposed to represent you. When you think you're representing Christ and you're trying to show the unsaved that there is a difference between a child of God, the way you portray yourself and carry yourself. Let me tell you, the thing is, if you can only recognize or say that I'm gonna use the word Christian, as they say, Christian, but by opening your mouth, something is wrong. People are supposed to be able to look at you and distinguish that there's something different about that person. There's something different about you. I'm telling you, I remember one year I came home and I went into Fulton Bakery. And a guy said to me, are you a Christian? And I asked him, why you asked me that? He said, you just look like a Christian. A man stopped me in New York one time and said, are you a Christian? Why you ask me that? He said, you walk like a Christian. That's how the Christian walk.
That's nice, though.
I was like, wait a minute, how do a Christian walk?
Yeah.
But if me and you walking down the street, we dress alike, we look alike, and you can't distinguish which one is safe and which one is not, something is very wrong. That's why the word of God said, let your light so shine that men may see and be led to glorify your Father which is in heaven.
Yeah.
And it goes for every aspect of our life. Our very apparel should give us away also.
Yeah.
You just can't dress like the world and look like the world, and only when you open your mouth and say, I'm a Christian, then everybody know, well, you living, you say you're living for God. No, your very outer appearance should give you away.
Yeah.
Cleo, let's go back to Mr. McMahon. You're going to hang up, Cleo?
I'll hang in there for a little. Let me hear what Mackie got to say.
Okay, go ahead.
I was going to tell you, Cleo, that it's this way, or this way, whichever you want to put it, why we can tell the difference from, the gait, the walk, But the thing is, the writer of the article made this, again, using the Bible, said, it says, render your heart, not your garment.
Ah, that's another one they use, yeah.
But that is misinterpreted also. That is a misinterpretation that people use. That's not what it meant. Because back then when they surrender, it's here they used to tear to distinguish. I am giving up this. I am turning away from this.
Funny enough, though, Mr. McMahon, on an Instagram post, she said, I couldn't breathe, LOL, but the dress and I made it through. So what's the point?
It's about the style. It's about...
Yeah.
But the dress looks...
She must know exactly why she wore it. She wanted, whether it's attention.
Yeah.
She did
and that is the thing, too. For women that go into church and wear certain things. Remember, the Bible says you should protect the brother. You should not tempt them. But you're going there and you're showing all your curves and your body. You think that brother could really concentrate on the word, because every pass you pass, I following you.
But Mr. McMahon and Cleo, hold just 1 second. If you all realize, in different light, the dress looks different. When she's not in the light, the dress looks black. But when she's in the light, that's when the illusion comes that she's wearing nothing but the lace.
But as Mr. McMahon says, she knew all of that would happen.
Yeah.
She knew.
Exactly.
She knew.
Yeah.
But she could argue that part. My dress wasn't as the photographer made it look. You know
Yeah,
how
but
we
but
are.
she know what the dress is it entail. It
Yeah.
entails to make you look like you don't have on anything.
Yep.
Because
And to be
I
quite
saw
honest-
a wedding dress one time with this bride, and honestly, you would think she had
don't
on
have-
nothing
Yeah.
because the thing matched her skin
Skin,
so
yeah.
good. You could see everything because it looked like she literally had on anything, but it
Yeah.
was the material.
Yeah, the
Why
skin
attract that kind of attention?
Yeah.
Especially if you say you're a Christian. Why would you want to attract negative attention?
Oh boy.
And to be quite honest, I mean, I'm no prude, right? To be quite honest, I mean, she looked gorgeous in it.
She looks fine.
It showed up all the curves.
Yeah.
I mean,
Look,
Mr.
look,
McMahon
Mr.
looking at her
McMahon. Look, as men, let's be honest,
shouldn't
right?
be the case.
As men, she looks ravishing.
As a woman too, she looks nice, but it's just not for what
But
she
but
stands
what
for.
we're saying and following what Cleo is saying, there's a time and a place, and if you're following and conforming to a Jesus Christ Christian thing, no, it
It's
doesn't.
not appropriate.
Yeah, it's not
Exactly.
appropriate. I
Yeah.
agree with everybody. It's not
Look,
appropriate.
look me.
The
You
other
know, for
thing that
me,
was
you know,
done-
I don't.
Hold clear. Go ahead, Mr.
Okay.
Mark.
Yeah, the other thing that was said was that that particular pastor is apparently a very generous person and sponsors lots of stuff, scholarships and paying mortgages and those kinds of things, as if to justify whatever he did. Is as if he's saying
That is
the good outweighs the bad.
That is another one. That is another one that they use. Like it's like the one who went to the church and he says, "But I give my tithes and look what I do," and So yeah,
Yes,
those
exactly.
are the different things they do.
Yeah, because they were actually going to an award to give back to a black university.
Yeah.
But that was used too. The fact that they're not going to a Bible class or church, they were going to a gala.
But it doesn't matter where you're going, Mr. McMahon. At that point, you're going. You say you're the Christian. I'm gonna use Christian.
Yeah.
For me, I use child of God, but I'm gonna use Christian for them. You say you're a Christian. You're supposed to be representing Christ, so you have to carry yourself a certain way. It doesn't matter where you're going. When you think I have a different set, it's like they have a different set of clothes. You know, us in the Caribbean, we have our home clothes, our church clothes, our going out, going to town clothes.
Yeah.
Look, when you see me, my home clothes, they look like the home clothes. I wear them in the house, but they're still modest. Okay, even in my house, they are still, because you don't know who's gonna come by your door.
Yeah.
They are still appropriate that anybody can come to my house.
Leo, what do you think of the idea that, when outsiders see Christians looking like that, looking so fashionable, looking so seductive, it attracts them into the church? And isn't that what God wants?
But Mr. McMahon, you attract them into the building.
It doesn't matter
right?
what the motive is. Once you got them there, you have a captive audience. Okay?
Yeah, but Mr. McMahon, and then again, that is why he go back to that scripture that I just said. It's not everyone that say, Lord, Lord, gonna enter in. When he gonna say, I did this in your name, and I did all that in your name. But it was a form of godliness.
But here's
it's a form of godliness.
But here's what stands out for me, right? And Cortez has said it a number of times. Here's what stands out and shows that the implication, what is implied, that dress and the point between her thighs, it curves right in there, so that when a man looks, his eye is going to go towards there.
Straight.
So there's an intent.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
Quint, when you think she put on that dress, I guarantee she looked in her mirror.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course.
So she knew what the attraction is gonna be. She knew what the focus is gonna be on.
Yeah.
She probably asked her husband too, or well, at least showed her husband.
Yeah.
And he's just
Exactly,
as
and he
complicit in
saw.
this,
Yeah. But you see,
Mr. McMahon says just as bad in the thing.
Hear this. This morning, and you said, Mr. McMahon, that I use the word dilute in a diplomatic way. And this is what the church is doing right now. They're diluting the religion, and it is going to morph into something that down the line you're going to be unable to distinguish between one and the other.
Quinn,
Yeah.
you are so right.
Yeah.
And that is the problem, because I can remember I was watching a video one time on Facebook, right? It was a church in St. Kitts. And let me tell you, the people and the music playing, you would think it was Smarlax band were playing. And the way they're carrying on. And if you go to the comments, oh, I love this kind of church. I said to a person, what happened when the music stopped? When the music stopped, I gone.
Well,
but they're there for the music and the dancing. They're not there for the word.
Yeah.
It's about the music. Church has turned into a place of entertainment.
Yeah.
But even that
Which
is
is
not
sad.
holding. Even that is not holding the congregations anymore.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Because I mean, I went to a church service on Christmas Day, not my regular church, but one in the countryside. And one of the things that was lamented there, the service was really nice, I found, very uplifting, but some of the congregation lamented the fact that only a few dozen were there when it used to be hundreds, 200, I think they said.
Yeah.
Okay. And so even with the change, even though that morphing that you spoke about, Quinn,
yeah,
with the intent to making it more attractive and so on, more appealing, the service more appealing and so on. Even with that,
it's not working.
Something else. I guess it's spirituality, I think.
But you see, Mr. McMahon, that is a good point you made, and I'm going to tell you why it isn't working. Because the young people, they look at that, and you hear them, when you hear them speak, they will tell you. They look at that, they look at what is happening in the world, and here's what they say to each other. Boy, look at the church now, boy. You can't tell them church people between us. And so they're not encouraged to go there, because the church was supposed to be a place where you go to get healing, to soothe you, and now they see it's no different. Yeah.
When we were growing up, you could have tell someone who was in the church from someone who was outside the church. Yep. Now you can't distinguish. Certain churches you can't distinguich. And that's a sad place to be. I run into a video with a church in thinking this thing what I bring up in the church talk about praise dance. The people I'm doing the same dance for the outside world do it and call it praise dance.
Yeah, well, hear this, and a lot of this is so sad. This is so sad. I remember years ago when I sat down with some friends and I said to them, I said, look, this is years ago when I was young. I'm no longer young. And I said to my friends, look, the way the church going, it's going to come a time when you're going to hear somebody going there and say, walk up for Jesus, walk up for Jesus. And my friend said to me, why no, but they're doing it now,
Oh, they're doing it now.
I tell you.
When I came home, I went to a church. The first time I saw it, I went to a church, and then all I saw was leg and thigh and open legs.
You
opening the
understand?
legs and flinging it back. Well, praise God. I don't know what mess is this.
No, but the thing is, you can still morph into something, but it does not. My problem is that it seems to go towards the worst parts of us.
Yes.
The worst aspect of us.
Yeah.
Right, the working up and thing. Because look at the parade in Jesus in the City. That I find that wholesome. There's not. You can't say that they have music, they have dancing, but it's all done sedately.
Yeah.
So you can change, you can morph. It's just that we seem to choose the basis
extremes, as you say.
I'm trying to remember this worldly song that they have out that people literally take it into the church, and I saw them doing it in a church in Sinkage too. I cannot remember the title of the song for the life of me.
Yeah.
And people doing the same dance, same thing in church.
I'm gonna tell you something, right? I hear people like the white people usually, and maybe a lot of the black Americans and so forth. They don't say walk up, they say twerk. But I'll tell you, there's a difference between twerking and walking up. Any Caribbean or African person would tell you, they would say, well, white people twerk, black women walk up. Is a difference.
But
you understand? And we know that.
But hold it.
Is it different?
Yes.
No.
White people don't know how to twerk.
Exactly. I just going to tell him that. Let me know to twerk. Quint, you know what's twerking, right?
Yeah, but look, twerk.
You know what's twerking, right?
Listen. Let me repeat.
You gotta bend over.
Let me repeat again.
No.
Look up twerk in the dictionary for me.
No. But
no, but we know how it's used.
But the way that the world sees twerk, that's not the twerk, you know, Quint.
I'm saying I'm not putting the emphasis on twerk. I'm saying there's a difference between twerking and walking up.
And I'm saying no.
That is what I'm saying.
I'm saying
look up
walking up, Quinn. Walking up is walking up. There's no good and bad way to walk up, and twerking is just another variant of it.
Twerking, in my opinion, is a need people trying to listen to me. I tell you again, and I know what I'm saying. Maybe in time you'll find out. To me, twerking, because again, you're looking at the linguistics. Twerking is people who don't really know how to, or people who don't really know how to walk up, trying to walk up.
But people twerk too.
Twerking is serious, Quint.
Look,
I can show you what's twerking.
It's not twerking. It's not twerking. Some people are walking up and they call it. Look, if a black woman goes to a dance and she tries to twerk, who knows real Caribbean culture and knows how to move that body, that isn't twerking. That is walking up. See, I'm using the Caribbean phonetics to express the difference. Walking, listen to the word walking up and twerk. You see here, you hear the mildness of twerk? I'm saying there's a difference. You can say that.
Pull up a video of somebody twerking and show Quinn.
Exactly. When the show is done, he's going to because
I said they're not twerking.
Who ain't twerking?
The person is walking up.
Yeah, but with a little twerk in there too. I guarantee you.
Look up twerk in the dictionary.
I have it right in front of me.
Dance.
Isn't that where they move their butt
Listen,
up
go ahead.
and down?
Exactly.
Go
up
ahead.
and down.
Go ahead, Corten.
So it says it dance to popular music in a sexually provocative manner involving thrusting hip movements and a low squatting stance where they move. A lot of strippers use it in the club. Twerking is a very serious thing.
But hear this.
White people can't do that. I'm sorry.
Okay. So white people really can't walk up. But here's
they could try, but they can't twerk.
Here's what
They don't have the movement of black people.
I've seen
they can be equally seductive.
But I've seen even some black people who can't walk up.
That's true.
Okay, so I've seen black people, for instance, throwing their hips from side to side and back and forth. That isn't walking up.
No.
Walking
but
up
that ain't twerking either.
Walking up is when you say, as the old Calypsonian would say, roll your waist like a ball of twine.
Man, no, Quint.
You understand?
Quint, I said that there's no right and wrong way to walk up. Right?
I agree with you, Mr. McMahon. There's no right and wrong way to walk up, but I'm saying there's a difference between walking up and twerking.
Yes, but twerking, those people who you think twerking, they ain't.
That is what I said. I said they're walking up.
I still maintain that.
No, you're mixing it up afterwards.
I still maintain that twerking is just a variant of walking up. I mean, some people, some people
and
you would say can walk up better
that is it.
Than others. Although there's no right and wrong way, there's some who can, because they can use their muscles.
You
different sets of muscles, all kinds of muscles.
You just said it. Mr. McMahon, you just said it. There's different variants. And that is what I'm saying. That is what I've been saying all the time.
But don't use twerk.
But you ain't supposed to walk up not twerk in church. Okay?
Okay.
No.
Listen to this. Listen to this. There's a difference between sipping and drinking or guzzling. Would you agree?
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is the difference? There's a variance. To sip, just the word means
take your time.
Take your time and do a little. And this is what I'm saying when it comes to walking up and twerking. As a Caribbean man, I remember, and I still remember, and I know when I see walking up as opposed to when I see twerking. And I think any real Caribbean man will tell you, if we're going to go back to what Mr. McMahon was saying, where you use, look, I've seen some women who can move one half of their buttocks and left the other half not moving and all that kind of stuff. You understand?
And remember that twerking is a relatively new phenomenon. Well, the use of the word.
That's what I'm saying.
Relatively new phenomenon.
Yes.
You can bet your life they had other variants before.
Yes.
Right? And, it's going to be interesting to see the evolution of all of this, because I don't know how some of mostly women do this. And it's like each year it's a different, they find different sets of muscles from somewhere.
Yeah,
okay,
that's what I'm saying.
Look at the parade and you see.
That's what I'm saying. Look, I'm sure when those Caucasians come, like right now when we're having carnival and they stand on the side of the road, if you look at some of the expressions when they see those women walking up, it's like they can't believe the human body could do some of those things.
Yeah, almost like contortionist. Yeah. you know? But it's all good fun.
Yes.
Except that it's not appropriate, I don't think, in church.
It certainly is not.
A different kind of message.
Yes.
That's why you need self-control. Because when you were in the world, you used to walk up when you're going church. There's nothing wrong with dancing, but it's the way you move yourself. Because honestly, Quint, I can tell you, I used to love walking up. Dancing was my thing when I was in the world. We used to have competition. Like you were talking the other day about the children when they dance and stuff. I can remember as kids, we used to have walking up competition. They give $1.25.
Yeah.
I wonder who was better, you or Sylvie Cleo?
Sylvie
What were you saying?
I wonder who was better, Sylvie or you?
Oh, jeez.
I don't think Sylvie. Sylvie must be just stooping right now. I wonder what a man got
Sylvie said that Sylvie said that she used to like to dance too.
Yes.
She said
because that was, Caribbean,
look,
our culture.
Sylvine says
let's be honest.
Listen, Sylvine says she loves to dance is a difference to Sylvine walking up. I would have to hear Sylvine say
Jesus.
she used to like to walk up to believe
we
that.
used to have competition as kids. Adults used to give us a quarter, give us $1.
Yes.
When a new song come out, I could remember when I first come up to America, and I think it was Ilele Shang Shang was the dance that came out this year before I left St. Kitts. And let me tell you, when I come to America and I show them how we dance Ilele Shang Shang, you know the amount of money I used to get.
I thought you were going to say she was the originator of the dollar wine.
Don't talk about the dollar wine again. Come on now. Don't talk about dollar wine.
And you see the dollar wine, that proves my thing where, as Mr. Mark was, different variants, because the difference between the dollar wine and the 50 cents wine, you know.
Exactly, but when you become a child of God, they say all things are passed away, the old thing has become new. You cannot do that. I saw a video one time. The music was so good in the church. It was a church in Jamaica. The music was so good, and this was a granny, okay? The old lady bent down and she went on she head and she split. You don't want to see them I'm like church mashup.
But Cleo, I want to know, do you think there's anything wrong though? Because this is another excuse used. If let's say I use the word ordinary for argument's sake, people who will be worldly outside the church, go inside the church and be sedate after. In other words, there's a time and place for everything. They claim that, well, it's just 1 or 2 days at the during Carnival that you just let loose. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. How do you view this?
So what you're saying is that they in the church, but for Carnival they go out and participate and do everything.
Yeah.
No, you got to.
That's not allowed.
You can't have water and fire. Pick one.
One foot in and 1 foot out.
So what about?
You can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Pick a battle.
So what about the opposite then? I mean, you have people who are outside of the church and they do what most normal people outside of the church do, fetes, dances, and so on, right? But they go to church. Are they not acceptable? And they're doing the same.
When you say you go to church, they just go to church for go to church.
Yeah, that's what it's.
Yeah, like
when they go to church, you accept them. They come to church. You can't run them. You don't run them. Just your goal is to win them for Christ.
Mm-hmm.
They come to church. That's good. They come to church, but they're just coming in the building, and that is the problem. People think church is the building, and church is not a building. Church is supposed to be in you.
Yeah,
we hold on to just the building.
Yeah. The church is supposed to be the members' assembly.
Exactly, it's the church.
Mm-hmm.
But we call the building the church. And the people just come in the building. They come in and they go out of the building. Live anyhow, come in and come out of the building. But if you say you're the child, you're the Christian, you cannot be. Oh, it's Christmas time, so I'm going out to enjoy myself, and then come in. Suppose you drop dead when you're out there.
Cleo. Now and again, you have to let Mr. McMahon come in because your voice is so overpowering, and I hear him trying to cut in, but you.
Go ahead, Matty.
No. All I was going to say is that it's something that we should all be cognizant of, the fact that we expect church to be different.
Yes.
Okay? To be more calming.
Yes.
And we go here absolutely for a different purpose.
Yes.
Okay? We don't expect the same things as outside. Okay?
Exactly.
Anybody who says otherwise, I don't think is acknowledging first of all, what a church should be like.
But some of them, they well know Mr. McMahon, but their intent is to change it. This is why this woman is dressing this way, because the intent is to get others to follow that, to conform to that.
Well, you can argue that maybe that she secretly admires the life outside of the church.
Exactly. But Quint, you're right. Quint, I'm going to show you where you're right? Look at these mega churches.
Right.
Why you think you have these mega churches? Because anything goes. Holiness is not in the mega churches.
That's it.
If anything goes, that's why they're so full.
Yeah.
As long as you have a church that's going to preach holiness unto the Lord and they stick to holiness, it'll never be full.
Not only just holiness, as long as you have a church that speaks to holiness and self-control and discipline, no, you're not going to get that much members.
But the thing is too, with the mega churches, you have to look at the fact that you have these thousands of people basically all holding one head.
That's what I'm
saying. They can be very influential.
But Miss,
and so we can't discount.
So let's go back. So let's go back to this girl and the way this woman and the way she's dressed. Here's what their intent is. Their intent is, okay, let's see what the lashback will be. If the lashback is very, very big, we might tone down. But if you get what you're getting now, where, well, they give to the different colleges, and they're very, very kind people, and you soften it and you dilute, then you find next week 2 other members come just like that, and next month 5 members, and
when you're the wise man.
5 years from now, let me finish my point. 5 years from now, it's a mega church.
Come on, Quint, you're the wise man. What all people used to say, you take a yard?
That's it. You give them an inch. They're just testing. They're testing to see how far they can go with this. That is what it is.
It's entertainment. There's no such thing as bad publicity.
But she's not the first.
But not in the church.
She's
You
not the
said it
first person
yourself.
to do that. Many of them do it. So this is just a next topic again about one of them.
So that's my
most
point.
Recent.
So that is my point. My
So
point
she
is
not the
this.
first.
My point is this. If you follow the way how some of individuals are going in terms of the church and religion, this is what they intend to be the norm in the future.
Quint.
Yeah.
Can you remember growing up back when I'm going to touch on a subject where a lot of people can say, it doesn't matter. Can you remember back when Christian never used to wear pants?
Yeah.
No, you're going to church, you don't even, everybody got on that pants.
Yeah.
You barely see anybody in a
Yes.
dress, you don't even know. Listen.
And that is a perfect point, because I remember when the pants first started, women were put on the back bench. Some women were said to you, don't come to this church, but it's a normal now.
Exactly.
So
It's
that
a
is
norm
point.
now
It's a
because
norm.
what?
Yeah.
They accepted it.
That's it.
And with
But
hats too. You remember
I'll tell you
hats?
something though. Quinn. You know what's going to be a big game changer?
What?
I saw where there's an attempt now to create life without even using any parts of the human genome. Okay, it's not what do you call it? Artificial insemination or freezing eggs and sperm and that kind of thing and recreating life. It's actually from doing it from scratch, creating DNA from scratch.
I've heard
So
about
that. When you do that, basically you're saying that you can create life.
But that is what the devil, the enemy of our soul, that's what he wants to do. And that's the one thing he cannot do is blow breath.
Is do what?
He cannot blow breath. When you say give life, he would love to give life, but he cannot do that. And that is why we have scientists trying everything now to eliminate man, literally telling you they don't need a man's sperm.
Cleo, listen to what Mr. McMahon is. I've heard about Mr. McMahon. Hold a minute. I've heard about this. I've not delved into it much because me and my little knowledge of biology and physics and that kind of stuff, I know that when we move down that vein, we are going to eliminate the human species. This is what it's going to end up being.
But Quint, you remember when they started
listen to me,
Mr.
Mr. McMahon. Listen to me, Mr. McMahon. This is what I know they've already reached where they have what they call designer
babies.
Yes, where you can create a baby and you already know the kind of intellect it's supposed to have, blah 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 blah. Okay, this is the extent they've delved. So what they're trying to do with what you're speaking about, Mr. McMahon, is to create a superhuman, or wouldn't even know if I venture to say a super being. Now let's think hypothetically. When that super being or those super beings are created, what you think they're going to do to us? If we're doing so much things, 400 years of oppression of our own people, you put 400 years, you put the people who you came from into slavery. You see this is happening again? Here's human being now creating a species that's going to destroy us. Let us go ahead.
Well, we don't know that that
Oh,
it
we
was
don't know.
the
Stay there,
outcome.
stay there and be,
The
stay there,
outcome.
stay there and be naive, Mr.
But
McMahon.
Quint, you're right. And look at it, right? Look where it started. First, they started in a test tube. Starting the test tube. Okay, man, accept that. They tried to do it without a lamp. And they're moving up. You realize they're going to different levels. As long as it's accepted, they're going to do and do and do.
And do you know one of the reasons why they sort of there was a pushback on cloning was only because a lot of the leaders of the world realized that you could clone them and down the line you could have someone displace them and the rest of the populace not even know the difference between them. This is the future you're looking at. And only because, again, it comes down to leaders only look after themselves. As long as it's something that is not going to affect them, they don't have a problem with it. But eventually it's going to affect all of us.
Well, you can't stop progress. That's the first thing, okay? And there's no way, they're not going to stop cloning either.
I agree.
But this is a totally different level in that they're taking the AGCT gene, the things that actually make up genes, okay, and DNA. Right?
Well, I'm going to come off in case somebody else is trying to call. I won't be so selfish.
Okay.
Have a good day, guys. Just in case if I don't get back in. I know y'all not going to be on tomorrow. I pray that y'all will have a blessed and a happy new year.
Yeah, same to you.
Thank you. You too.
Now, I have a bit of a quandary. Hold Mr. McMahon because I don't even remember which button Cleo was on. Let me see. Hello, McMahon, you're still there? Okay, so Mr. McMahon, you'll have to call back in. Yeah? But Mr. McMahon is right. We won't stop so-called progress, but this progress is going to be the detriment of us as a human species. You understand? And this is why, again, people must be aware of this. People must understand. This is why the West have always been trying to put the woman in the background and the man in the background, because they have always had a problem with the fact that the woman was able, the womb of the woman is able to create a human being. You understand? And they push the woman back, and woman bought into it. All of this about feminism and blah, 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 was all to put women in a position where you feel like you could do without the man. You see where it's reached now? You see where it has reached now? All while the woman was fighting against who is supposed to be her companion, they're behind there sitting trying to replace both women and men.
Boy.
So stay there with your naivety. Hello, caller?
Yes, hello, Quint and Cartensi again.
Okay.
Would like to be as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, I was trying to end off by saying, when people were put into slavery, when a people were put into slavery, the Bible explanation for it was that they were disobedient to the word of God, and in punishment, God put them in slavery, be it the Israelites or whoever else. And this is also what I believe for the explanations of also Africans who were put in slavery. The Bible explanation always is, no matter who the people are, it was due to the disobedience of the word of God, and God punished them as a result.
And that is what and that is what the Caucasians said. They said, because you sin and you're whatever, you deserve this punishment. So I disagree with you completely, but I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, but that is what the Bible has always said. And if you read the Dead Sea Scrolls, Septuagint, that sort of stuff, which were done by ancient Jews, that teaching is there as well, which we translated and get our English and Spanish and so on Bibles from. So it's an ancient teaching way before Europeans had the Bible.
It's an ancient teaching that has been twisted and contorted to say what people want it to say.
Well, I just said what the Bible said.
Okay.
And the Bible said, disobedience to the word of God was the reason why people end up in slavery.
Yeah.
No. Also, I believe Adam and Eve.
Make your other point quickly. There's another caller.
Yes. I believe Adam and Eve were middle brown, and I believe the people up to the Tower of Babel. Of course, you had the worldwide flood in between, no flood in between. But I believe the people up to the Tower of Babel were middle brown before they dispersed at the Tower of Babel, and any history
they could not have been middle brown. They had to be black or dark brown. I'll tell you why. Let's look at creation and the creation, and let's look at what happens after volcanic eruption. Why do you think we have black sand? You realize we have this white sand and this thing sand because people have made it their business to distort nature. Most of the places where you see this white sand and so on and so forth, it's because a lot of them artificially created these beaches. You understand? Yeah, but if you look at nature in its original form, after listen again, Hortensia, after a volcanic eruption, what do you have in the soil?
I get that, and that's why I was going to say most islands that do have volcanic eruption, that's why they have so many, a lot of black sand beaches, like St. Vincent and Dominique. And
so let's go back to the creation in the seventh day or whenever the world was created, okay? After the earth was created. Yeah, after the world was created, what color would the soil have been then?
I don't know.
The soil would have been
I don't know, boy. I wasn't there.
I believe you had different color soils. I believe you had clay, for example. I believe you had clay, for example.
It would have been a dark brown. And again, let's go back. You see, this is why I tell you the Bible has been twisted and contorted to say what people want it to say. Because in the Bible it says 1,000 days is like one, and one is like 1,000. So 6 doesn't necessarily mean 6. You understand? And this is where you all have twisted up everything to make everything when you hear it and you take it literally. You understand? So don't come and try to bring that to me, right?
No, hold on. Literally. Okay. Literally, for example, clay isn't black. Literally. Number 2.
But you do not have clay. Listen to me. You cannot have clay right after a volcanic eruption. Clay is what happens.
Clay is what volcanic eruption at the time.
It must have had some volcanic eruption. Look, if you look at the galaxies, you see how planets are formed. So what makes us think there's a change?
Hold on. Yeah, but remember the days were 7 24-hour literal days, you know.
You can't say that. You can't say when up to today man can't even decide. Man can't. Why is our calendar all mixed up? Man can't even decide when is December, when is the end of a year, when a new year starts, and all that kind of stuff. And you're telling me it was literally 7 days, 24 hours?
Yes, it had to be. It had to be. And I'm going to tell you what. This teaching about 1 day is 1,000 years with God, 1,000 years is 1 day with God. That is teaching something as different that with God. God does not have a past, nor does he have a future. Everything is in the present with God. So 1,000 years,
that is nonsense. That is utter nonsense. That is utter nonsense. But I won't even go there because
that is why God is called the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, because everything is with him in the present.
That is nonsense, and I won't go there because that is too deep. Hello, caller. You're gonna finish your point.
Yeah, I'm going, and that is why he's called the Alpha and Omega.
Yes.
And lastly, what I say, women wearing pants under sort of Christian women wearing pants under sort of, in and of itself is not wrong because in the Bible days when the Bible says women ain't supposed to wear man garment, man ain't supposed to wear woman garment. Basically, the cut of the garment was the same, but it's what culturally. What was considered man garment and woman garment.
You see again how Greg dilutes things to fit what he He just said, there's a contradiction in what he says, men and women are not supposed to wear the same, but there's a cut and a cultural. I mean, come on with this nonsense.
No, it's what the culture unites and consider to be men and women garments. And in the Bible time, the cut of the garment was the same, but maybe the colors, the type of fabrics were considered, hey, these for men and these for women, but the cut of the garment was the same.
So why originally was pants looked down upon in the church? Just like a women had to cover their heads with hats, and we know hats are dying out. Hats are coming back fancy now as fascinators, but we still don't, people don't go to church with hats anymore.
Yeah, because once ago, even the hat thing was a cultural thing. But you see what happened in our church, the so-called pastors and leaders, they don't do research. They don't do background research and those sort of stuff. So they come with a lot of nonsense, just like the preacher. When you put X and the X in those prices.
Greg, even you, with all the research that you do, pick out what you want to conform with what you want.
Example. Give me an example.
But you just did it with
The word says it's an abomination for a woman to put on male apparel.
You just did it.
It's an abomination. You know what is an abomination?
But the background of that passage was what was considered to be male and female.
What was considered,
culturally,
boy, I tell you.
Culturally.
Quit with you, boy, I tell you.
Yes,
culturally, the garments were cut the same, but some
fabrics
were considered to be for
Cleo,
to be for men.
Cleo, how come he says God is the Alpha and Omega, and now he's saying culturally? Where does culture come from? Culture is
because Paul said.
But you cannot be using Paul when you're going to describe God.
But Paul wrote scriptures.
But he's not.
God said it's an abomination for women to put on male apparel.
Yeah, but what I'm telling you, back then, it was not referring to the cut of the garment.
We're not going to get anywhere with this.
We won't, so we definitely
because,
won't.
Greg is going to be adamant, and he's going to go around in circle, and we're not going to get anywhere anyway.
Yeah, but go and read any book on the cultural background of the scriptures.
Okay,
but
Greg, it doesn't make any sense. So is there any other point you want to make?
And lastly, secondly, look at drawings and so, and you see the clothes basically cut the same for people back then. But lastly, I want to say, I first identify myself as a Christian, and everything else after, be black, Kitish, and whatever. So if that is diluting myself, hey, I'm guilty of it. Okay, because I'm first a Christian above all else. Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And that is what Christians do. Christians say and not all Christians, but Christians who don't want to accept their blackness, they say, no, I'm a Christian. I don't deal with race, but yet still race is being used against us. Go ahead, Cleo.
Now, come to what you were talking about a while ago, right? The other day, I think it was the day before yesterday, I was having a conversation with my pastor, and we were talking about the things that are happening now around us. And I said to him, do we remember, look at it, the things that we, like when we watch movie, remember the Will Smith movie with the robot?
Yeah, I, Robot.
I, Robot. I say, do you remember that movie? Look at it now. Isn't what we have today? It's like the movie. They know what their plan is. They put these things in movie form.
They know. It's to condition our minds.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I tell them. Condition us that, and when you look, it's a peer. Today now we have, is what we're fighting against. We have these AI robots that want to take over. So it's like just like in the movie with Will Smith, I tell him, my pastor, it's the same thing that we're going to be fighting down the line. They're going to try to replace us with these robots.
Yeah.
And then you went on to talk about the woman, what they call woman labor. Like diminish the man. You don't need a man. That's why when I look at the gays and the lesbian, the men don't want a woman, but yet they want a baby. Yeah. Whether you cannot have a baby outside of a woman. And hear how foolish they is, right? They don't want to be with a woman to have a baby naturally, but they will go pay a surrogate to bring this baby and give it to them.
But hear this, Cleo. But hear this, Cleo. And this brings it home. That's a perfect point you made. Now, if they can actually create a human from the basic embryotic foundation, now these gays and lesbians can go and purchase a child.
Right, and I got a baby. And
You
seriously?
understand? So
You don't want to do it God's way. The natural way, but yet you want to be like you're normal. But you're not normal.
Has anyone ever questioned why is it that when you went onto social welfare and that kind of stuff, they discourage a man being in the home?
That's so true, you know. That was to get rid of the man.
When women were going, and especially black women, I'm not even
mean
speaking.
eventually power to the woman, feminism, etc.?
No, I'm speaking about when black women started to buy into this thing about being on welfare. One of the main questions they asked these black women when they went for the welfare was, is there a man in the home? If there was a man in the home, it sort of disqualified you from getting on the welfare. These women bought into it, and eventually they started to say, we don't need a man, we can get our checks. But
They hide the man, Quint. Back then they used to hide the man.
That is what I'm going to say. A lot of the Caribbean women who have been, because look, American blacks want to take all the credit, you know, but they learned a lot from Caribbean people. A lot of the Caribbean women, when they went and they bought into it, they had their men, but they hid their men. You understand? And eventually, the black Americans realized, well, look, these Caribbean women, they're outsmarting the system, and they started to do the same thing. But it wasn't in the majority. And you see what has happened now? You see what it has done to the family?
Messed it up, Quinn.
Yeah.
True. That is so true.
This one has been tough on me. From the church that I love so dearly, getting massacred, and now he's saying we ran the men.
The church is massacring itself. The church is creating a noose and putting their head into it.
Sometimes some of the things that I see people do, it's really ridiculous.
Yeah.
I try not to think because, you know, it's hard when you bash your own.
Yeah,
you try hard
rough.
not to.
Yeah.
It hurts. But like I went into a video, right, where they had these children line up, and the lady telling them must give thanks, testify and give thanks for what you like. Give thanks. And hear what the lady said to the children. I don't want to hear you say, thank you, Jesus, for my toy, or thank you, Jesus, for my friend. No, listen, that's what they're thankful for. That's what they're thankful for.
Exactly. You can't tell people what to be thankful for.
You're programming them to say what to say they're thankful for. Does that make sense?
Well.
And then one of the child went on to say, I am thankful to God for my stepmom. And the interrupter, no. They give her back the mic. Say something more. Well, she went on again. I give God thanks. I am thankful for my stepmom because she listened to me better than my real mom. Oh, who tell that poor child to say that? Well, they start to speak in tongue and rebuke the child like, oh, dear God. No. Come. And then rebuke that child to, if she could have fallen to the floor, she would have dropped to the floor.
Cleo, I'm so glad
Nonsense.
Cleo, I'm so glad you made that statement, because this is what I've been saying. When I was growing up as a child, you see how I speak now? It didn't start just now, you know. It started way back. But if I was not a strong individual, you know how much time I was cursed and rebuked and condemned to everlasting fire, and because I asked question, because I asked a preacher, I say, well, where did God come from? And he looked at me and said, he watched me and he was quiet a while, and then he says, don't you dare, don't you, I damn you to everlasting fire.
Foolish.
Yeah.
And a child, he should have speak to you so you can get the understanding.
Yeah.
That is nonsense.
That's what I'm saying.
To rebuke the child and carry on like she said something wrong. Don't ask me to give thanks, and when I give thanks for what I'm thankful for, it's like you want to program me to what to give thanks for. That was foolishness.
And you know what's going to happen to that child? It's one or two ways. It's either that she's going to be completely against the church now, or she's going to be completely docile.
Yeah, it's confusing. I can tell you, Chris. I'm gonna be honest. I got in trouble a couple times at church too. You know.
Yeah.
I gotta give you an example, right? You're gonna laugh. I'm gonna give you an example. I can remember one time so one of our church ministers had preached on something, and our pastor he preached on something, and when he came back, pastor corrected something that the minister said, and the minister did not like it. So the Sunday morning, he came to church, and he was upset, and pastor called him to talk to him, and he refused to go. He took up his Bible, and he left. Okay. Me now, I say, as a leader, nobody know what was going on. He made it obvious that something was going on. He should have just go to pastor, hear what pastor had to say in the office, instead of bringing attention to himself.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that was the Sunday morning. The Sunday night, we have, every fourth Sunday, we have relationship. Pastor teach on the relationship, married couples, and, what is entail in marriage, and guide the young people when it comes to marriage.
Yeah.
So at our church, I go to a practically, let's say, Jamaican Pentecostal church, because it's all Jamaican. It's like me and my family, we're Kittian, and maybe one or two. We had a Haitian sister, but it's permanently Jamaican. And they believe that when you get, the brother should not go to the sister before going to the pastor. So, me know with my bright self, get up and ask, but pastor, you believe in today, 2020, I think it was like 2024, 2023, you believe in today, the 20th century, that the brother and the sister ain't corresponding long time before he come to you? Well, who tell me ask that? Quick, let me tell you, I got in trouble, and here's the kicker, right? When pastor done like rough me up, you could say rough me up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say rough me up.
Yeah.
When pastor, I know. Here's a test. I know took up my bag. Hello. The same thing that the brother did.
Yes.
I took up my bag, right? I was getting ready to go through the door. And I heard a voice in my head. Chris, I just sit down on the back bench. Because the test was, God is something else, I tell you. That he tested me right away after the same day.
Yeah.
Almost.
I tell you, I remember my oldest son, and I never forget that when he got married. They have long since divorced, and he got married, and when you're young and you're in love and so forth, and he was fun. He said to me, he said, Daddy, and everything is church. Well, you know how I feel about the church, so I'm not going to discourage him. I said to him, well, Junior, look, just be careful, because I think you're moving a bit too fast with a lot of this, and you're going to find that you're going to begin to ask questions. So he looks at me, because my oldest son is very, very aggressive, in terms of, and he looks at me and he looks at me and it's quiet, and then he says, so Daddy, you're telling me that I can't love my wife and follow what my wife, and I said, no, I'm not telling you that, I'm saying, if you're my child, this is what I said. I said, if you're my child, which I know you are my child, you're not going to go into any church and conform just like that. So I'm saying, take your time and whatnot. Then he gone, right? Things are going good. Next thing, some maybe months or maybe even a year and something after, I go by him and I'm asking him so and so, and I notice certain things he's not wanting to talk about. So I say, well, so how's things with the church and so? And he's quiet now, you know what I'm saying? So I say, I kind of smile, and he's watching me on the side, because remember, that's my oldest son, you understand? He thinks a lot like me too. And he says, eh? I said, so what's happening in the church? And so he says, boy, Daddy, Well, me and the pastor fall out, you know. I say, you and the pastor fall out? He say, yeah. I say, what happened? He said, because we had a thing and a sermon, and I asked the man a question, right? And the man look at me and say, sit down. Don't be asking this kind of question. So he said he sat down. But the next time they have a meeting, I think it was Bible studies or whatnot, he brought back up the question because he said his reasoning was that the pastor would have relaxed and simmered down, you know, and be in a different mind. So he asked the question again. The pastor went on worse this time. Blah, blah, blah. So he said no. He said he stood up and he said, but pastor, you can't be telling me don't ask no question. When if you say you're the pastor and you know, I want to know what you know. So I'm asking you, boy, the pastor went ballistic. And my son discontinued going to the church. And that was, I guess, the beginning of the end of the relationship because he's now, imagine he has a wife who is a Christian and he's not going to church anymore.
So they're creating unequal
things. Yeah. So,
wow.
But my point is, as Cleo was saying, sometimes people in the church, especially pastors, don't feel that you should question them, and that is what they did with the little girl. They just went ballistic on you and
right there you kill a soul.
Yeah.
They don't realize sometimes they kill a soul right there. If you're not strong, if you're not strong and mean for Christ I live and for Christ I die, you'll walk away.
Yeah.
You have to have that made up mind.
Yeah.
And as a little child, you practically kill her soul right there.
Yeah.
Because they made that child felt so bad because she was grateful for her stepmom.
Yeah.
Because what they should have find out is what was the problem between her and her mom.
Yeah.
After church, take them aside and speak to them and find out what is the problem between her and her mom.
But you see, Cleo, that's one of the things I like about you because you're one of the rare Christians who will look at things in a pragmatic way, in a humanistic way, rather than just getting all flustered and, you know. And that is what people in more religious and people in the church needs to do. Have a conversation, a mature conversation, where someone like Africa, who knows Greg is going to be contrary to his thought pattern and still invites him into a forum where you can sit down and reason. That's what mature people do.
Yeah, because even the example where I give it myself and asking the question to pastor when I because I'm close with my pastor, so you know we're gonna talk after.
Yeah.
The thing is that's something that I should not have asked, especially in front of the young people, right there and then, because I guess you know, and maybe if you had answered me, then it might have given the young people a leeway to go out and do what they want. And you know, as young people, you really have to protect them. So I kind of understand that, but at that time, the way it came off to me, where he made me take up my pocketbook, yes, and was ready to go through the door.
But Cleo,
I passed the test. I sat down.
But Cleo, sometimes that part about protecting our children, you're right. But sometimes I, as a parent, realize that you can only protect them so far. And certain things you've got to step back and let them suffer the consequences. As hard as it may sound, we've got to do that because they're not going to listen to, our children don't listen to everything that we say. They want to experience things for themselves. And you know when they experience certain things, you just keep your fingers crossed and hope it doesn't go the bad way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most parents do that.
Yeah.
That is true, but as parents, we still want to protect them, especially as saved children. You want to shield them and shelter them and protect them because the world out there is dangerous.
Yeah, but Cleo, for how long can you shield and protect them? Because even some of us that come up in the church, when we realize this ain't for we and we go outside there, who could tell us come back if the Lord don't deal with us himself?
That's true.
Yeah.
That is
so
true.
For how long can parents protect their children?
Yeah.
So we know
that is very true.
As the Bible says, train up a child in the way it will go, and then it won't turn away from whatever. And because of how my mom brought me up, that's why I'm the person that I am today, because she taught us principles, she taught us values, etc., etc. And I said my dad was there too, but my dad lived overseas for most of his life, so it was mostly us and his mom until we eventually reunited with him after maybe 6, 7, 8 years or so. But she did an excellent job, and she's the reason why me and my sisters are the way we are.
And I guarantee you, we look at some of the things that we see people and kids go through the day. When we look at us growing up, we were glad our parents went upside we head.
Only when we got older. I don't think I appreciated that in my young age. I was plotting my revenge.
We like to appreciate it now, right?
But when I got older, I said, okay,
only
no more
when we got
plotting.
older.
She did a good job, and I see why she was doing it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, Cleo.
But anyway, love you guys. Have a blessed
Good
day.
to have these kind of conversations.
Indeed.
We need to have more of these, deep conversations. Yeah.
Real talk.
Yes.
All right, guys.
Okay. We're 58, 2 minutes before the end. Is there anything riveting through your mind? Hortensia?
Not at this moment, just that it is our last show for the year, because I'm not going to be here tomorrow, so I guess Quint's not going to be here. So I want to say thank you to everyone that has made our journey on Island Tea pleasurable this year. Thank you for the good wishes. Thank you for the comments. For those that Quint, I've been walking through town yesterday, and this young lady, she stopped to me and she said she listens to us every morning, and she just wanted me to know, but she didn't want to tell me her name. I guess she knew I do shout outs. So good morning to the lady that said good morning. But I'm sure you enjoy it when people come up and tell you they listen to us and they enjoy it. And I do the same. So when you see us, just come up and say hi and let us know that you listen. We appreciate you listening. Well, I know some people still want the radio station. Hopefully we can get it up by next year.
Yeah, but remember, there are certain things that we have to, that we're not going to get.
I know, that's why I said hopefully.
Yeah. One of the main thing is higher elevation on a proper antenna. That's something legal, court and all that kind of stuff. But I'm not the kind of person that people just approach easily, because I'm usually going straight ahead. But I'm surprised at the amount of young men who when I'm passing, you would hear them say, Quint. And I know it's because they hear me on the radio.
And they see you.
Yeah, and they see me. So, and then occasionally one of them, so for instance, I was going through the square there one day, and a fellow was on the bench, sitting down, perhaps eating something, and you know one of the pathways from when you come from the court and you go through that pathway there, and he says something, and I'm thinking he's just hailing out to me, and so I hail out, and then he says, boy, I listen to you all the time, boy Quint, you're a demon, you're a demon. Meaning, when he said demon, he mean like you're vicious then,
Okay.
You know how these young people speak, you understand? Okay. So I stood up and I said, yeah? He said, yeah, man, keep hitting them like that.
That's good.
But my intention isn't really to hit anyone. My intention is I just go with the flow. Hello, caller?
Yes, Quint. Hortensia, it's me again. I would like to tell Africa, when you're ready, you can contact me. My number is 661-2551. So, when you're ready, you can contact me. If I'm in Bass here, I will try to come up in the Circus Radio WC if I could contact you, and we could talk. But we would have to plan ahead of time, so I could know ahead of time and the sort of stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he's listening, and he would hear you.
Yes.
Okay.
And Quint, like always, like I said previously, right? When we see drawings and that sort of stuff of people who we know, of what we know, how people in ancient Israel used to dress. Like I said, the cut of the garments were the same. It's just that the differences lied in maybe the type of fabric and colors. But secondly and lastly, as this music thing, with all due respect, I cannot go to the Bible and bring a scripture that says, hey, this music is wrong, that music is right. Because the Bible ain't saying nothing about what music is proper and improper. What it says, it concerns the lyrics. The lyrics is what is right or wrong. And what I realize, when people try to say, oh, this is the proper type of music, guess what kind of music it is? European music in the church. With piano, organs, and that sort of stuff. When people try to point out what music is proper in the church and what music ain't proper in the church.
I would not disagree with you on that, but here's the thing, though. What would you say to an individual in a church, right? And I'm going to use a woman because mainly women fill up the church, right? And a woman and a song is playing, right? And she's not just dancing, she's dancing and she's wearing a dress and she's lifting up, showing her dress, and you're seeing her legs and lifting it up sometime, and she flares it and you can see her underwear and that kind of stuff. Do you think that is becoming?
Okay, well, I sort of indirectly addressed this in a program before. Read 1 Corinthians, read Galatians chapter 5, where it tell you, part of the fruit of the Spirit is self-control.
Okay.
Part of the fruit of the Spirit is self-control. When you see lack of self-control, that is not of God. It is either of the flesh, of the devil, or of the world, but definitely not of God. And that is why part of the reason why I was saying, when you see these quote-unquote tongues and falling down and laying in spirit and all that sort of stuff, lack of self-control, the Bible says no, that is not a fruit of the Spirit. That is something else. It is not of God.
So the
lack of self-control.
The reason
no place in the church.
The reason I ask that question is to kind of agree with you. It's not so much the music, it's what people do to the music. You understand?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I can't go nowhere in the Bible and say, well, this scripture said this music is right, that music is wrong.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't find it. It's not in scripture. It's the lyrics. And like I said, when they do come
Not
up
just the
telling
lyrics.
you what kind of music is right,
it's the lyrics.
European music.
It's the lyrics and the behavior, the two.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. You hit the nail on it.
Yes.
Take care, Quinn. Thank you. Both you and Carter, God be with you all always. God bless you.
You're welcome. Thank you too. Have a great day.
And that's how we're going to end things for today.
Yep.
Has been a pleasure as always.
Indeed. So have a happy Tuesday. Thanks again for my bush. So I'll be sorting myself out. So see you again, folks, to our listening audience on Monday, January 5th. Have a safe one. I see they had an accident in Keys early this morning. Folks, no way it's far. Let's be careful.
Yeah.
I know we festive and we drinking a little bit, but please, if you're going to drink, have a designated driver. We don't need any more loss of life for the remainder of the year.
And even for the new year.
We don't want it at all. Yeah. So let's behave. Let's behave.
Okay. Yeah. So take care. All the best.
We're different. We're 98.9. 98.9. Win FM.
If you live in low-lying areas, be aware of the possibility of tsunamis immediately after an earthquake. A strong earthquake lasting 20 seconds or more is a natural tsunami warning. Do not wait for an official warning. Gather your family members and evacuate immediately after the shaking stops. Don't delay. A tsunami could occur within minutes.
This message is sponsored by the Australian Government, AusAid, and produced by NEMA in collaboration with WinFM.
If you need protection, you need one who you can trust to secure your investment. You need one who'll do you just. TDC Insurance, you're the one that you can trust. TDC Insurance, you're always safe with us.
TDC Insurance is your go-to insurance company for all your insurance needs. We take pride in offering you the best solutions and ensuring our customers are fully satisfied. TDC Insurance, we take good care of you, guaranteeing you peace of mind.
You're always safe with us.
You say